You know, my mother used to say something that stuck with me all through life. She'd say, "It's not the big splurges that sink a ship. It's the small leaks you never patch." And the older I get, the more I believe she was right. If you're anything like me, you've spent a good part of your life trying to be careful with money. You clip the coupons, you shop the sales, you stretch leftovers into tomorrow's lunch. But even with all that effort, you may still be losing money in quiet little ways that sneak right past you. It's not your fault. These traps are clever. They look like savings on the surface. A big bottle that seems like a bargain. A coupon that looks too good to pass up. A bulk buy that ends up rotting in the fridge. And before you know it, the money you worked so hard to protect is slipping right through your fingers. Well, today, I want to sit with you and have an honest conversation about 10 ways you might be losing money without realizing it, and how smart, experienced women like you can turn that around. I'm not here to judge. I'm just here to walk with you, to share what I've learned, and maybe even pass on a little wisdom the way my mother once did. Because saving money isn't about being cheap. It's about being wise. And if there's one thing I know for sure, it's that a woman who's lived through enough birthdays already knows the value of a dollar and the peace of mind that comes from spending it well. Trap number 1, buying cheap that doesn't last. Let me tell you something I've learned the hard way over the years. Not all savings are real savings. Sometimes what looks like a bargain is just a slow leak in your wallet. I remember one year when I found this big, generic bottle of dish soap on sale. It was huge, probably bigger than my old Sunday Bible, and cost less than $2. I thought I was being clever. Brought it home, put it under the sink, and figured I was set for months. Well, the first time I used it, I had to squeeze half the bottle just to get a few bubbles. The second time, I used even more. By the end of the week, I'd used almost a third of that monster bottle. And the worst part? The dishes still didn't feel clean. You know that squeaky clean feeling when you rinse a glass? I wasn't getting that. Just dull plates and a bad mood. Turns out that big bottle was mostly water. And that cheap price came with a catch. It didn't work. And I ended up buying another bottle of the real stuff just 2 weeks later. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you have to buy the most expensive brand on the shelf. But I am saying this. When you find a product that works and lasts and gets the job done right the first time, that's worth something. A good quality dish soap, like Dawn or Palmolive when they're on sale, goes a long way. You need less of it. It works better, and it saves you time and stress. That's what I call true value. Sometimes saving money isn't about the price tag. It's about performance. It's about peace of mind. And when you've worked hard for your dollars, you deserve to spend them on things that actually do what they promise to do, not on watered-down versions that leave you disappointed. So next time you're standing in that cleaning aisle, looking at a bargain brand that seems too good to be true, ask yourself, will this really save me money or just cost me more in the end? That kind of thinking, that's what smart women do. Trap number 2, trash bags that break your budget and maybe your patience. Now let's talk about something we all use but rarely think twice about, trash bags. You wouldn't think a trash bag could be a money problem, right? But it can, if you buy the wrong kind. I remember a day not too long ago when I tried to save a few bucks buying a box of discount trash bags. They were a no-name brand I'd never used before, but the price was tempting. Almost half the cost of the brand I usually got. So I grabbed them and figured, hey, it's just trash. How fancy does a bag have to be? Well, let me tell you, first bag I used tore right down the side before it even got out of the can. Second one lasted a bit longer, but once I tried to take it to the outside bin, it gave out completely. Food scraps, coffee grounds, and something that smelled suspiciously like old tuna fish hit the floor. I stood there for a good minute thinking, I saved $1 to clean up this mess? I ended up using 2 bags at a time just to get the job done. And even then, they didn't fit the can properly. They bunched up, slipped off the rim, and I spent more time fixing them than filling them. My back ached. My patience wore thin. And I realized I hadn't saved anything. Not money, not time, not energy. Since then, I've stuck with the Members Mark bags from Sam's Club. 200 bags in a box, sturdy as they come, and they fit perfectly in the can. No leaks, no spills, just one and done. That's what I like. Sometimes, buying cheap means you pay twice. Once when you hand over the money, and again when it fails you. And when you're at a point in life where your time and energy are just as precious as your money, it pays to buy the thing that works the first time. Because you deserve convenience. You deserve peace. And no one should be bending over the kitchen floor at 7 in the morning, cleaning up a broken bag full of eggshells and coffee filters, just because $1 looked too good to pass up. Trap number 3, the zip bag that doesn't zip. You ever try to pack up some leftovers for your grandkids, or maybe your husband's lunch, and you grab one of those plastic storage bags from the discount store, and the thing just refuses to seal shut? I've seen it happen more times than I can count. The top part doesn't line up, or the plastic is so thin, the corner tears when you pull it open. You end up with crackers spilling all over the lunchbox, or grapes rolling around loose in the fridge. It's frustrating, and it's wasteful. A bad zip bag can ruin a good sandwich. And don't even get me started on the ones that burst in the freezer. You think you've got ground beef saved for stew, and next week you open the freezer to find it all freezer burned and frosted because the bag couldn't keep air out. That's not just a mess, it's wasted money. Now I get it, some of the big name brands like Ziploc are pricey, but you don't always have to go that route. There's a brand called Complete Home, and they sell them at Walgreens. They're good, real good. And a few times a year, Walgreens puts them on sale. Buy 1, get 2 free. That's when I stock up. I order them online for in-store pickup, so I don't waste time driving from store to store. A solid storage bag does more than hold snacks. It protects your groceries, your time, and your sanity. And when you're living on a fixed income or trying to stretch that retirement check, every grape, every slice of cheese, every ounce of ground beef matters. So don't waste your hard-earned dollars on a zip bag that can't zip. A few cents saved isn't worth a lunch ruined or a freezer full of spoiled meat. Choose something dependable, something proven. That's how smart women save, not just pennies, but peace of mind. Trap number 4, coupon fever without a real plan. Now don't get me wrong, I love a good coupon as much as anyone. There's a real sense of satisfaction in clipping one, walking into a store and walking out knowing you saved a few dollars. It feels like beating the system, doesn't it? Like you outsmarted the big guys. But here's what I've learned over the years. Not every coupon is a good deal. And without a plan, those little pieces of paper can tempt you into spending more than you ever intended. Let me tell you about a time I walked into the grocery store with a handful of coupons. I had this feeling like I was about to conquer the world. One coupon was for $5 off a premium frozen dinner, something we never buy. Another was for some organic shampoo that smelled nice, but cost nearly $10 a bottle. I wasn't planning on getting either of those things, but the coupons made them feel like opportunities. So I bought them. And when I got home and looked at the receipt, I realized something important. I'd spent $25 more than I would have if I had just stuck to my list. I saved $3 in coupons, but spent way more than I meant to. And to top it off, I didn't even like the shampoo. The problem isn't the coupon. The problem is when the coupon drives the purchase instead of the need. That's marketing, not saving. Stores know how to dangle just the right offer in front of us. They're counting on us to act on impulse. So here's my advice to you. Wise woman to wise woman. Only use a coupon if it's for something you were already planning to buy. And pay close attention to the fine print. You'd be surprised how many deals say $10 off, but only if you spend $100. That's not a discount. That's a trap. These days, I keep a small list of items we use regularly. If I find a coupon for something on that list, great. I'll take the win. If not, I let it go. Because true savings don't come from being tricked into a deal. They come from knowing what you need, sticking to your plan, and walking away from a bargain that isn't really a bargain. Trap number 5. Buying too much fresh food without a plan to use it. Oh, I know how tempting it is. You walk into the farmer's market, or maybe the grocery store during a weekend sale, and you see it. Bright red tomatoes, bundles of green beans, maybe even peaches so ripe they make the whole produce aisle smell like summer. And the price? Irresistible. So you fill up your basket, telling yourself, we'll eat healthy this week. I'll figure something out. But here's the thing. Unless you've got a plan, a fridge full of fresh produce can go from hopeful to heartbreaking in just a few days. I've done it. We've all done it. You get home, put the food away, and then life happens. A phone call, a doctor's appointment, a grandchild pops by. Suddenly, it's Thursday, and that bag of salad you bought on Sunday is looking a little too soft around the edges. The tomatoes are getting mushy. The berries? Fuzzy. That's not just spoiled food. That's money in the trash. And worse yet, it feels like failure. Like you tried to do the right thing, and it still didn't work out. Here's what I've learned over the years. When it comes to perishables, the key isn't just buying, it's planning. These days, when I come home with a load of produce, I take 10 quiet minutes to lay it all out and ask myself 3 things. First, what's going to spoil the fastest? Second, what meals can I make using those items in the next 2 days? Third, what can I freeze, dry, or cook ahead of time? I call it produce triage. The ripe tomato becomes tonight's supper. The kale goes into a soup tomorrow. The berries? I rinse them, dry them, and freeze them in little bags for smoothies or baking. And if I really don't think we'll use something in time, I'll share it with a neighbor. I'd rather give it away with a smile than throw it away with guilt. It's okay to enjoy fresh food. It's wonderful, in fact. But smart women don't just buy with their eyes. They buy with a plan. Because every piece of food you save and use is another dollar well spent and another little victory in a life well lived. Trap number 6, convenience foods that quietly empty your wallet. Now I'm going to say something that might sting a little, but I promise it's coming from a place of love. Convenience foods are not really all that convenient. Sure, they save you time. And yes, it feels easy to pop something in the microwave and call it dinner. But over time, those little frozen meals, boxed side dishes, and heat and eat entrees can eat away at your food budget like moths in a pantry. I remember walking down the frozen food aisle not long ago and picking up a rice and bean bowl that looked pretty tasty. It was $5. I turned it over and read the ingredients. Rice, black beans, corn, a little seasoning. And I thought to myself, I could make 10 of these at home for the price of 2. And that's exactly what I did. I went home, cooked a big batch of brown rice, opened a couple of cans of beans and corn, added some garlic, cumin, and lime juice, and let me tell you, it tasted better. Fresher. I knew every ingredient that went into it, and it fed us for 3 nights. I'm not saying you should never take shortcuts. Sometimes life gets busy. Sometimes your body's tired. But if you find yourself filling your freezer or pantry with meals that come in boxes, instead of ingredients, you're probably paying more for packaging than nourishment. Here's a little trick. Next time you see a frozen meal you like, take a picture of the back of the box. Look at the ingredients. Then make your own version at home. It'll cost less, taste better, and you'll have the pride of making something with your own hands. And you know what else? Cooking, even just a little bit, can be a kind of self-care. A way to slow down, Create something and feed yourself well, not just with calories, but with intention. You deserve meals that love you back, not just food that fills you up, but food that gives you strength, joy, and a sense of ownership. And when you cook it yourself, even if it's simple, it means more. So don't be fooled by convenience. You are capable. You are wise. And there's nothing more satisfying than a meal made by your own two hands. Trap number 7. Expensive name-brand cleaners that don't actually do more. Let's have a little heart-to-heart about cleaning products. Now, I know many of you take pride in a clean home. I've known women, my wife included, who could turn a dusty old room into a sparkling sanctuary with nothing but elbow grease and good intention. But here's the thing. Somewhere along the line, the cleaning aisle turned into a sales pitch war. Bottles lined up like soldiers, all claiming to kill 99.9% of germs, make your kitchen smell like a meadow, and change your life in the process. And of course, they come with price tags to match. You might be paying $5, $6, even $8 for a single cleaner that promises to do it all. But what they don't tell you is that most of them contain the same basic ingredients, and you can make a homemade version for a fraction of the cost. Now, I'm not saying you have to start whipping up potions in your kitchen like a scientist. Not everyone likes mixing their own cleaners. But I am saying this. You've got options. And some of the best ones don't come with a fancy label or a commercial jingle. Take the Totally Awesome Cleaner from Dollar Tree. My wife found it years ago, and I'll admit, I was skeptical at first. But we tried it. And let me tell you, it lived up to the name. Less than $2 for a bottle that cleaned our counters, sinks, and even the car dashboard. No gimmicks, no glitter. Just results. Sometimes, the most awesome things are the simplest. And if you're willing to go the extra step, there are natural DIY cleaner recipes that use just vinegar, baking soda, a little lemon, and some water. Safe, effective, and dirt cheap. No pun intended. So the next time you see that bright orange bottle promising miracles for your bathroom, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, do I need all that? Or am I paying for a brand name, a color, and a fancy spray nozzle? You're smart. You've been around long enough to know that flash doesn't always mean function. Clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. What matters is that your home feels safe, peaceful, and yours. Trap number 8. Rewards programs that trick you into spending more. Let's talk about those little plastic cards hanging from your keyring. You know the ones: store rewards programs, loyalty cards, member-only, savings promises. They all sound good at first. Who doesn't want to earn points, get discounts, or feel like a VIP at the checkout counter? But here's the hidden truth most folks don't realize. Those programs are designed to get you to spend more, not less. I remember signing up for one at a local store, not naming names, but you'd know it. They offered me 5% off every purchase, access to special member pricing, and the promise of a $10 coupon after spending $100. Sounds good, right? Well, a few weeks went by, and I noticed something strange. I started shopping there more, not because I needed to, but because I didn't want to miss the deal. I bought items I didn't need just to reach the spending threshold for a reward. I once walked out with a $30 box of snacks I could have lived without, just because I was $10 away from earning that silly coupon. That's not savings. That's marketing. Retailers know how to play us. They dangle rewards in front of us to keep us coming back, to spend more than we planned, and to make us feel like we're getting a good deal when we're not. Now, that doesn't mean you have to throw away every rewards card in your wallet. Some of them are useful, if you already shop there regularly and you stick to your list. But here's the key: discipline. If you walk into the store with a plan and leave with only what you need, the rewards can be a nice bonus. But if that card convinces you to grab extras just to feel like you earned something, then it's not saving you a dime. You've worked too hard, and you've come too far. to let a little piece of plastic control your spending. You don't need approval from a store to know your worth. You've got wisdom on your side, and that's worth more than any points program ever invented. Trap number 9. Buying in bulk without a solid plan. Buying in bulk sounds like a smart move, doesn't it? You see the big packages at the warehouse stores? 50 pounds of oats, 6 bottles of ketchup, enough toilet paper to last through 3 winters, and you think, well, that'll save me trips to the store and money too. And sometimes it does. But here's the trap. If you don't have a plan for how and when you'll use those bulk items, they can end up costing you more than you saved. I remember the time we came home from a bulk shopping trip with enough produce to feed a family reunion. The price was unbeatable. But guess what? By the end of the week, we had to throw some of it out. And that stung. Not just because of the waste, but because we thought we were doing something smart. That's when we created something in our home we now call the 1/5 budget rule. Every month, we set aside 1/5 or 20% of our grocery budget for stocking up. That's it. It's like a little safety valve. If we find a fantastic deal on pasta, canned goods, or spices we use all the time, we use that 1/5. It keeps us from overdoing it. It also keeps us disciplined. No more buying just because it's a great price. We ask, do we have space? Do we have a plan? Will we use this in the next few months? I want you to hear this clearly. Buying in bulk is only smart when it matches your real life. If it sits in the pantry for 2 years collecting dust, it's not a deal. It's a delayed donation to the trash can. You deserve to buy with intention, not just excitement. And when you do that, when you stock up with a purpose, you gain more than just savings. You gain confidence, control, and the comfort of knowing that everything in your pantry has a place in your life. Trap number 10. Buying things on sale that you don't actually need. Let me ask you a question and be honest with yourself. Have you ever bought something just because it was on sale? Maybe it was a pretty blouse marked down 70%, or a new brand of cereal stacked up at the end of the grocery aisle with a giant 2 for $5 sign. You didn't need it. You didn't plan for it, but it looked like a deal. So it came home with you. Trust me, you're not alone. I remember not too long ago, my wife and I were at the local discount store, just picking up a few basics. While walking through the aisle, she spotted a shelf full of cold and allergy medicine, half off. Now, we didn't need it right then. We were healthy as could be, but something about that red sticker tugged at us. She looked at me and said, "You know, we'll probably need this by fall." And she wasn't wrong. Our grandson struggles with allergies come October, and having that on hand would help. But here's the difference. We didn't buy 10 boxes. We bought 2 because we knew we'd use it. We had a plan. The real trap is when you buy things just because they're marked down, not because you actually need them. Sales are designed to trigger urgency. The red signs, the limited time only, the countdown clocks online, it's all meant to push you into spending money faster than you think. And that's dangerous, because it takes the decision-making out of your hands and puts it into someone else's. And let's be honest, when we were younger, we didn't always stop to think. We learned some of these lessons the hard way. But the beauty of this stage of life is that we can be more intentional, more grounded, more wise. So the next time you see a buy one, get one free sign or a clearance shelf calling your name, pause. Ask yourself 3 simple questions. 1. Do I need this right now? Or am I just reacting to the price? 2. Do I already have something like this at home? And 3. Will I actually use this in the next 30 days? If the answer is no, then you're not saving. You're just spending. True frugality isn't about grabbing every deal. It's about spending with purpose, buying less but better, choosing quality over quantity, and peace over impulse. You've earned that kind of control, and it's something to be proud of. A life of wisdom, not just savings. You know, after all these years, raising children, caring for a home, living through good times and lean ones, I've come to realize something. Saving money isn't just about numbers. It's about values. It's about protecting your peace, guarding your time, and making space for what truly matters. Every dollar you save is a little victory. A quiet, steady choice to live with intention. Not to chase trends, not to impress anyone, but to live wisely, to leave a legacy, to show your children and grandchildren that a good life isn't built on stuff, it's built on stewardship. So if you've ever felt guilty for not doing enough, or overwhelmed by all the advice flying around, take a breath. You're already ahead, just by listening, just by caring, just by choosing to do a little better, one decision at a time. Because the truth is, you don't need a fancy financial degree to live wisely. You don't need an app, or a spreadsheet, or a complicated plan. All you need is what you already have: your experience, your instincts, and your heart. And as someone who's walked a few miles on this path, let me tell you, you're doing just fine. Keep walking in wisdom. Keep spending with intention. And keep believing that your small, steady choices are building something big, a life of purpose, dignity, and joy. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.